Now, have you heard of the Marshall Islands? Perhaps not. Well, it's a country based in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Until recently, they were the last country on Earth without an international football team, but they've played, there it is, their first ever matches. We can speak live now to two British men who helped organise those games. Yeah, we're joined by Technical Director Lloyd Owers and Commercial Director Matt Webb. Before we speak to them, let me just show you how the shirt they've sent us. There we go, look at that, as if by magic. Here it is. Very nice, there we go. Lads, good to see you. Lloyd, let's start with you then. Tell us a little bit more about this project, and considering you're from Oxfordshire, how did you get involved?
Yeah, very, very randomly. So 2022, I was doing some coach education online and various pieces, came across an article that the Marshall Islands were the last nation on Earth without a national team, and randomly fell into the hands of Shem Levi, who's the president for the federation, and we crossed paths, a lot of back and forth, and it led to the offer of a technical director, and then the rest is history. It's up to this point.
Matt, where did you get involved and why?
Yeah, pretty similarly, back in, I think, August of 22, I first read about this project in the Athletic online newspaper. My background's in sports administration, marketing, and I thought, what an opportunity here to get involved. I basically hunted down the federation president online and said, look, I'm willing to work for free. Let me at it. And I think he thought, what's the worst that can happen? And here we are 3 years later. Yeah,
it's magnificent. I don't know if people can see this shirt. We can maybe come back in vision here. This is the shirt. We've just got a map up here of where the Marshall Islands are. This is the shirt. Very, very, very nice indeed. You've played 2 matches then, Lloyd. Tell us about those. Virgin Islands, the Turks and Caicos Islands. How did they go?
Yeah, honestly, I think we went into the games thinking it could be a cricket score. A lot of external media was thinking, it's going to be one-sided, and we showed in both games that it wasn't the case. And I think from my aspect of coaching in it, we went into it really, really blindly with a squad that some of the players hadn't played 11v11 before, playing against players that have played in World Cup qualifiers, playing professional leagues. First game, we unfortunately lost 4-0, but 2-0 down at half-time, hit the post 1 minute into the second half, and very tight. And then from that point, we went into the second game full of belief and narrowly lost 3-2 to the Turks and Caicos Islands, and missed an absolute sitter at the last minute, in my opinion. And I think 3 of the 4 officials as well should have had a penalty in the last minute. So it was a gutting way to end it, but very, very proud and a lot better than everyone expected.
Yeah, and Matt, tell us about some of the guys that play in your team. What kind of standard are we talking? What jobs are they doing? What ages are we talking? How big is the population on the Marshall Islands?
Yeah, the population of the Marshall Islands is only around 40,000. We played the games in the United States because there's a large Marshallese population there. So where we played in Northwest Arkansas, there's around 20,000 Marshallese people there in itself. From the team itself, is such a young squad on the whole. A lot of the players are students, still studying, and I was so impressed with how they kind of handled the whole situation. There was a lot of media attention around the whole event, but they really equipped themselves so well. So the youngest player, I think 15 years old, Zach London, making his international debut. So an absolutely huge achievement in itself. But a lot of the players, kind of 18, 19. At the other end of the scale, there's a couple of older guys, so 39 and 43. So we've got kind of 2 polar ends of the spectrum there. But yeah, the lads themselves did incredibly well, especially the younger ones.
Yeah, 39 and 43, Matt, I'm just going to point out, not old. But in terms of the player recruitment, how do you go about doing that, lads? I mean, how do you qualify for the Marshall Islands? Do you have to be kind of native to the islands? You said you had a lad from London. There's some kind of tenuous link. Tell us about how you do that.
Well, the unique thing about Zach is, unfortunately, he's not from London. His name is Zach London, but he's our sort of great link into it. But yeah, in terms of eligibility, we're trying to base it on the FIFA eligibility rules, even though obviously we're not in that situation at the moment. That's where we want to be. So players need to be born on the islands themselves, parents born there, grandparents born there, or clear connections to the country, whether that was lived on island for a specific period of time, and the clear connections from that. So we're fortunate enough that we have players from Majuro, players from the island of Kwajalein, which is a Marshall Islands island, but owned or controlled, I should say, with a US military base, and then players from the US who are of Marshallese descent.
OK, what was the reaction like, Matt, in the Marshall Islands when those matches were going on?
Yeah, so the games, we did a good job, I think, of streaming them live. So back home in the Marshall Islands, there were several watch-along parties. I think for us is soccer's becoming increasingly popular in the Marshall Islands, and what we're trying to do is facilitate the growth of the sport and showing there's actually a pathway from people having kickabouts or just playing in the school to show that actually one day you can now represent your national team. What really struck us as well, several young families or people with Marshallese kids flew in to watch the games live. And that's an absolutely huge occasion for them to show that they can be like the players on the pitch one day. So something for them to work towards and aspire towards being an international footballer, which never previously existed for them.
Yeah, great stuff. And Lloyd, any more plans for future matches? What's next?
Yeah, we've got a few kind offers. People wanted to reach out from the games and offer their expression of interest to players as well. We've got next steps of hopefully getting the female team a first fixture. On Ireland, just continuing the development of the players that play there, so children and adults. But then on the men's side, working in the background on the next games of 2026. So we're now just working out the next steps, where it's going to be. The first game in Madro, is it going to be in the US, wherever it may be, but also the right opponent. And for us, that's going to be a competitive fixture against a FIFA nation again. We just need to work out who it is from our list that's come to us.
Lads, great stuff. If you're looking for an assistant coach or maybe media officer or something, you'll be able to track me down at Sky Sports News. But thanks very much for your time.
Appreciate
Thanks so much.
Thank you.